Do starving artists really need to starve?
I'm going to piss some people off on this one. Because I say, yes, you do need to starve. And again, this may be my age showing, sir. So just bear with me. Yeah. But I think you do need to starve because hungry people get shit done.
Yeah.
And I mean that in all sense of the matter. If you're physically hungry because you haven't been nourished, you're going to figure something out to eat.
Yeah.
You're going to get some shit done.
Yeah.
And if you're in the early stages of your career and you're beating your head against the wall, you're going to do whatever you can to turn the corner. You know, and I say this to my family all the daggum time.
Yeah.
Because it comes up, there's nothing here in the house to eat. And my phrase to them is, you ain't been hungry enough.
Yeah.
You know, because I know there's stuff down there to eat. You just don't want to do it. And that same type of mentality trickles into your schoolwork. That same mentality trickles into your career.
All right, Infinite Table Podcast, Creator Sessions, Episode 8. What is up, everybody? I am here with the one and only legendary Ant Pruitt. Ant, thanks for being on the show.
Dude, you're building me up too much. I ain't ready for that. I'm not ready for that. Oh, jeez. Thanks for having me, brother. How you be?
I am good, Ant. I'm honored. Thank you for being on the show. And I'd like to get with other creators, other content creators. I've seen your stuff online on Instagram, your website, and on YouTube. And you're a pretty big deal, man. You're a pretty big deal here locally in Sonoma County. So I was just like, man, that's awesome. Because I actually like content creation. Hence why I'm getting into videography. But yeah, I've always liked
for you to say that I'm a pretty big deal, man. That blows my mind. I appreciate that because I still feel like a fish out of water some days. Good grief.
Yeah, it's the what do you call it? They call it imposter syndrome, right?
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it's real. It is real. But yeah, so Ant Pruitt is a Bay Area photographer and videographer who also works for twit.tv, that stands for This Week in Tech. That's
right.
This Week in Tech.tv.
Mm-hmm.
How long has Twit TV been around?
Oh, dude, Twit's been around almost 20 years. I don't know the exact number, but it's getting close to 20 years now. They are a technology-based company that does podcasts. It's a podcast network, and it's all based on consumer technology. Yeah. And over the years, it has grown into what it is now, to where it's not just consumer tech, it's also enterprise tech, and it's geek culture, and heck, now we've added photography, with me being here since 2019.
Nice. And I think you're also a bit of a nerd, or a big nerd. Because I'm a nerd too, man. I'm a nerd when it comes to like tech. I used to watch a lot of anime when I was a kid, and I still game once in a while, but I'm a nerd.
I'm a bit fringe. I'm fringe.
You're fringe?
If people look me up on Twitter, you'll see, well, I don't know if it's there now, but I used to have in my description that I'm 33% geek, 33% dork, 33% nerd, 1% to be determined. There's
always that 1%.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ant, tell us about yourself, a little bit of introduction and your background story, and
sure.
how you got started in this in your creative field.
Well, I've always been interested in creative arts, since I was a kid, but I didn't really start taking it more seriously as a career until this is 2022, about 12 years ago. And prior to me taking it seriously, I was an IT guy in Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to do tech support, and then I started managing the tech support desk, and then I got into upper level tier IT support. So I would stare at code all day, staring at databases and running queries and all of that, and I loved it to an extent.
Yeah.
Because the IT world is very daggum busy. You're going to have on-call days and nights. You're going to have on-call weekends and stuff like that, because users are going to be users and break stuff at the most inopportune times. Fridays, I can remember the days of people saying, "Yay, it's Friday," and I look at them like, you just broke something. And it's really screwing up my Friday, because Fridays and Mondays are the worst days in IT, because the users are the most careless, and they're usually trying to do things way too fast on a Friday so they can get out of there, so they break something. Or on Monday, they're just careless and foggy and just do something mindless and break something too. Yeah. So, and I was never really a fan of Fridays and Mondays in that world, but I was able to get out because I got into freelance content creation. I was blogging, writing a lot, and got some notice from a couple of different writers and bloggers, and ended up freelancing for them. And that just sort of grew after that. And the last IT job that I had, I got a call. I got an email from CES, the folks that run CES. I can't think what they're called, but they have a proper name for CES other than Consumer Electronics Show. But I got a call from their team, and it was like, hey, we want you to go and cover CES Asia in China. Well, I shouldn't say call, it was an email. And I looked at it, I remember seeing it thinking it's spam, and just sort of pushed it out the way. Yeah. And the damn message kept showing up. It kept coming back. And I finally decided to read it and look into it, and it was legit. And when I got the message and talked to the person through another email channel, which further proved that it was legit, they were like, "Okay, yeah, we've been watching you do this. You've gone to CES Las Vegas. We'd love to send you out to cover CES Asia and blah 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 in Shanghai, China." And it just sort of it blew my mind, but then at the same time I was like, well, I've earned this. Yeah. And when I went to report it to my IT manager at the time, I said, hey, I need to take some time off because these people want to send me to China to talk about tech and do some content for them. And my manager at the time was like, dude, why are you even here? And it just sort of crystallized that, it's time to really dig into this stuff and just keep pushing. And so I continued to push even harder. And shortly after that, Twit knocked on the door. It's like, well, all right, that's it. I'm out of the IT world. And so as of July 2019, I officially put the IT world behind me. And everything is content creation, not just content creation in addition to doing IT,
That's awesome, man. That is, wow. That's great. That's leaving, your, what did you call it? Leaving the traditional path into pursuing a more unconventional path, right?
Yeah, and it's totally unconventional. Yeah. My family knew that, which is why I continued to do IT as the primary source of income, because freelance stuff, it can come and go. Right. Right. But my family, they supported me, and it was like, well, you going to Vegas again? Yeah, I'm going to Vegas. Oh, you going here? Yeah, I'm going here. And it worked out, because I've always said, if I win, we all win. And that's still my mission today. It's just to continue to try to get wins.
Yeah, that is that's actually very sentimental too, because that's kind of like my philosophy. I was just like, man, if I become successful, you guys or my family, my wife and daughter, they benefit from my success. And that's, I just want to make them proud. I just want to,
yeah,
I just want to make them proud. I just want to, my deathbed, I just want to say, I built something, I pursued something, and I did it. So
yeah,
that's what I want, man. But yeah, that's an amazing story. So content creation, and you said that you started writing for blogs, and so you just did freelance writing. You said, right?
Yeah, I was doing freelance writing, and it all started because there was a particular blog that I was reading years ago, and I would comment on the blog post because I'm the person that feels like if an artist is creating something, whether it's a writer, painter, photographer, whatever, if they're creating something and it moves you one way or another, you should let them know. You should give them that feedback. So I have no problem with going into the comment section on articles that I read online. And so commenting on this site led to the editor-in-chief of said site saying, hey, we always see you commenting on here. You ever thought about writing? And I was like, well, yeah, I do think about writing. And they said, well, here's your shot. So I took it, and it was great because it led to so many other things, and it led to relationships.
Right.
You're a nerd. I'm just 33% nerd. You probably heard of Dr. Jerry Purnell.
Not familiar, but
okay. Well, he's a science fiction writer.
Okay.
Dr. Jerry Purnell and John C. Dvorak. He's an old school tech writer.
Okay.
And it was their blog, and it was just sort of crazy for me to get messages in my inbox that said Dr. Jerry Purnell on there. And I'm like, dude, I used to listen to your books. It's just crazy stuff like that. It led to those relationships, which led to other relationships, and getting on to CES and getting into the database there.
Yeah.
So now PR companies know that I'm out there, and they reach out, and it's a lot of crappy PR, but there's some good connections in there too that's been beneficial to let me just create content.
Right. That's awesome, man. Wow. So you went from freelance blogging to content creation. How did you start getting into like photography and videography? Because I've seen your work, I've seen your website and your Instagram, and you take really cool photos too, and video. Actually, I saw your story, or no, your Instagram reel. You have a black magic. Was it 6K, right? And then you have a small rig, right? And I was just like, man, I want to get there one day. Well, I do have a small rig. I do have a small rig for my GH5S. I was thinking about getting the Blackmagic 4K back in 2019, but then it's
still a good camera.
It's still a great camera, yeah. So I was looking at Panasonic, Lumix, the GH5S, and I was also looking at Sony. Sony's are just like the iPhones of the camera world. So
all great cameras.
Yeah, all great cameras. Yeah, it's just and yeah. So how did you got into photography, videography, and why did you get into that? Like after doing freelance writing and.
When I say this, most people don't believe it, but it was the smartphone that really got me pushing photography more in my life. I've always enjoyed art. I'm someone that used to draw all the time. And when I was really young, I've had a couple cameras, and I remember having a film camera. I can never remember the model of it, but it was a film camera that my grandmother had. It was a Nikon. And I loved tinkering with that dadgum thing until I broke it one day. I dropped it and broke it and tried to figure out how to put it back together, which led to another side of me that says, you know what, you like to tinker. You like to see if you can put things together. But then I remember having an old Kodak 110. I think it was a 110, the little shaped like a candy bar camera. And you just had film in it. And I've always just liked taking pictures and got into the point and shoot cameras later on as an adult. And then when I got a smartphone, it was the Android Droid X smartphone. And that thing had I think it was a 18 megapixel camera. and it shot 720p HD video. Right. And I was out and about taking a 15-minute smoke break, quote unquote smoke break, because I don't smoke, from the IT job one day, just sort of walking around the little park and nature scene that we had, and took the camera out, and just something caught my attention. I was like, oh, that's pretty. And I took the picture and didn't think anything about it until later on that afternoon. I pulled my phone out and looked at the picture, and I was like, damn, that's actually pretty good. So it just sort of sparked something. Well, can I try that again? And I went back out with the Droid X and just kept shooting more and more, and it just took off from there. I couldn't stop shooting, and still to this day I shoot something every day.
Nice.
Nice. It's just I have to do it. It feels good to do it, and there's a lot of things that no one will ever see, but it's just that feeding my soul to be able to click the shutter.
Right. Yeah. My last guest last week, she said that because she's a photographer, and she said that you always want to keep creating. You never want to, you don't want to start, or you don't want to leave your camera for more than 24 hours. And she just said, yeah, if you're a creator, a videographer, photographer, just keep creating, go out there and just, shoot some stuff. Right. So
something,
yeah,
it's something,
right.
And I'm struggling here recently in the last handful of months, from a creative standpoint. But I'm still clicking that shutter.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even if it's just carrying my phone, I'm still clicking the shutter because the phones are really good too.
Right. I still need to kind of learn cell phone photography. It's not as the same as
Well, real talk, man. It's not much to learn. You already have an eye. I mean, you're in the video space, so you already have an eye for composition.
Yeah.
And smartphones, the AI is making things so much easier for people. They're literally, and I hate saying it this way, it dumbs down photography for people. Mm-hmm. But if someone has an eye for the art and eye for competition, oh, dude, it's great. Just pick it up, frame your shot, hit the button, and the AI is going to work on the exposure to make sure it looks good, and make sure the shadows aren't crushed, make sure the highlights aren't clipped, and it's going to do all that. You don't have to think about any of that stuff anymore. Yeah. It's just, you literally just pick it up, point, and shoot. Yeah. So you got no excuse now, Bear.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you what type of applications do you work with for like post-production? I work with DaVinci Resolve. Resolve Studio 17. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you use Premiere Pro for video, Lightroom for photography?
I am an authorized Adobe affiliate, so yes, I do use Lightroom for my digital asset management of images. I also use Photoshop, and I use Lightroom for post-processing as well. It's usually the first step in my post-processing. Okay. Because I do a bit of a loop. I go from Lightroom, then into Photoshop, and then back to Lightroom, and then to export. And it just seems to be my flow. But I also play in Premiere Pro, Audition, barely going to Audition now because Premiere's audio tools are pretty much the same as Audition at this point. And I used to dabble in After Effects a good bit. I don't go in there as much now because they've put a lot of motion graphics inside of Premiere that's already tooled together, and I can just tweak them here and there, so it saves me another step. Okay. But I also use DaVinci Resolve Studio because I have a Blackmagic camera, and you get a license. And you just said 17, dude. You need to go ahead and upgrade. Go ahead and upgrade to 18.
To 18.
Get 18. It is the shit, dude. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah. The motion, and you have a studio license, so you're going to get the motion tracking. You already have the noise reduction that's in there. The noise reduction just gets better. Yeah. The motion tracking, and then there's the stabilization. Stabilization has gotten better, but if you have a Blackmagic camera, and I know you don't, I have a Blackmagic camera, and there's a gyroscope inside of the Blackmagic cameras. It's taking the gyroscope data from B-raw footage to do its stabilization algorithm. Mm-hmm. dude, it's night and day. It's so dadgum good. One of my latest YouTube videos is demonstrating the new gyro stabilization in there, and I took the same piece of footage, put them side by side, you know, stabilize the old way, stabilize with the gyroscope, and it's so good. So please do yourself a favor and update.
I will. Team. I will. I will definitely take up your word for that. I will absolutely take up your word for that. But yeah, man. So you have a YouTube channel. I gotta put in my notes here that I'm gonna subscribe to your channel tonight. So
thank you. I've been a little slow on my YouTube. I used to put something out every week. But when I started this show, when I started Hands-On Photography, I got really focused on that. It's just a brand new show, and I really needed to prove my worth, if you will.
Right.
Because Twit is a tech network.
Right.
And yes, cameras are tech, but Twit has an audience of like hardcore tech nerds. And it's going to be hard for me to get them on onto my show. So I needed to work on not only that existing audience, but building a brand new audience outside of the Twit network. So I put a lot of focus in that and how to reach those folks. And so I focus on that pretty intently, and then so far it's still paying off. But I'm trying to get back into creating stuff for my own YouTube channel. I would like to do more short films, but I'm not getting any ideas pop up. I've done 3 now. 3 short films, and that was hard. Coming up with the ideas. Shooting it was no problem, but it was the ideas and figuring out the story that I wanted to tell. I struggled with that a bit, but I'll still try to do some tutorials here and there when they pop into my head. So that's what most of my videos are. It's a lot of how-tos, and I'm going to start doing some more DaVinci Resolve stuff in there because I've been mentioning that on the show as well, but not everybody wants to watch my shows, but they are interested in my YouTube channel. So I figured I could do a little bit of semi cross pollination and put some Resolve stuff on my personal channel as well. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. And people think that video is not valuable these days. They think that content creation is, it's nothing. But really, when it comes to content creation and video, right? Like even you said, like you had a hard time coming up with an idea for your short film. The pre-production side, the production, and the post-production, right? And people think that video, you just take a camera, press the record button, you take video, and that's it, right? You just send it to your clients, you send it to people. But there's more to that, right? There's more to that. And it's just like, you guys just don't understand. There's actually a lot more work that goes into it. A lot more. There's a lot of logistics and planning and so my niche. I've gone through a little bit of that stuff on my show. Because my show is called Hands-On Photography, but I've started a video module on the show as well, because they go hand in hand. Right. And I've tried to cover a lot of those bases of getting started with capturing video, and we've gone into the editing side of things, and I've done probably 4 or 5 episodes just on editing. And there's still more to do. And you know what sucks, man, as a freelance videographer, and I've seen horror stories where freelance videographers, they take on a project and they're getting paid like $500 or $1,000 per project. It's just like, no, man, you should charge more because there's a lot more to it. You got to value your time. You got to value your time. But I guess some artists are just really scared because they think that they're not worth it. They're not worth that, that value yet. But you don't know until you ask. But then a lot of times they don't really, like you said, they don't really know what their value is. Exactly. And I've talked about that before, as far as just, content creation as a business. You need to know what it costs for you to, quote unquote, go to the office. Right. Okay. If you were working at a I hate saying this, traditional job, you know, a traditional 9 to 5 where you went to a facility where there's a facility of pushing a button to make a machine do something, whether it's pushing a broom, whether it's going to an office space to sit at a desk.
Yeah.
You have a rate. You have a rate right there. What's the difference between that versus, you know, your own business? You need a rate.
Right.
What are you worth? You know, your effort to do A, B, C, D has a rate. You need to figure that out.
Right. Absolutely. But yeah, so you enjoy content creation. What challenges do you face with content creation? You said you ran into some challenges right now. Like what are some challenges you face?
My main thing is something original. I can copy a lot of things. I've always been good at that, and this has been a challenge for me for pretty much my whole life. You know, I go all the way back to my teenage years and younger when I was drawing things.
Yeah.
And you know, my grandmother would tell me to sit down. Well, not tell me. She would ask me to sit down and draw her something. She'd say, draw me a dog. And I'd sit down and I start drawing the dog, and it would look like the worst crap you'd ever seen. Just like, really? Why? But if that dog was sitting right in front of me, and she'd say, draw the dog that's sitting right in front of you, I'd crush it. You know, so there's something in my head that says, you know what, you can duplicate stuff pretty easily, but just pulling it straight out of my head, it was always a challenge. And even to this day, it's a bit of a challenge to come up with some stuff. Right. But I'm working on it.
Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Matt Diavella. He is a YouTuber / filmmaker. He directed or he created and produced the Minimalist documentary on Netflix. In one of his YouTube videos, he said that
didn't know he had a channel, but I saw that documentary though.
Yeah. So Matt Diavella, the director, he has his own YouTube channel, but he says that in one of his YouTube videos, he said that like sucky artists copy, but great artists steal. You know, great artists steal. And what I take from that is, you can steal from other people, but then you take their template and try to make it your own. And so when you mentioned that that you're good at copying, I'm kind of a bit the same way, but I don't look at it as copying. I look at it as like stealing, but trying to make it my own. And so trying to come up with like an original concept that somebody already made. So I totally get where you're coming from, man. I totally understand that.
Yeah, the last little film, it's only like 2 minutes long. Yeah. And there's really nothing to it, but I was inspired by something I saw earlier in the week, and it was really nothing to it. But it inspired me to grab my camera, and when that opportunity presented itself, I was going to be ready to capture it, and it did. Right. And it's literally just walking outside with the camera, making sure the mic gain is set nicely, because I wanted to get some ambient sound and just sort of set the tone from a mental health standpoint. Yeah. And that's all that 2 minutes is about, is stopping and listening and you know, taking into account your own mental health, because there's a ton of mental health videos out there. Right. You know, but this one was my take. And when I thought about it, when I take into account of my mental health, the first thing that comes to my mind is, did I hear the birds today? Yeah. You know, it's as simple as that. It's like, did I hear the birds today? Yeah. And because it's just something serene and peaceful about that simple, free thing to do. It doesn't cost you a dime. Yeah. Just step outside, shut your mouth, open your ears, and see if you can hear birds. And then you'll be surprised at how many other birds you hear, you know? Yeah. And I said, all right, I'm going to run with that and put it to film. Yeah. And that's what I did.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. You got into the field, you went in, got cameras, and you just started shooting, filming. Did you take any type of like extra courses, or did you subscribe to any courses like Tomorrow's Filmmakers or Full-Time Filmmaker or anything like that?
I did not. Okay. But last year I did buy a masterclass subscription, and man, I don't think people get just how great their program is.
Yeah, their content. Yeah,
and none of the stuff that I've consumed has had anything to do with picking up a camera. It's more about the thought process. Yes, I did watch Annie Leibowitz's class. You know, she's an amazing photographer, and a lot of the stuff she spoke about I already knew. Okay, but there were a couple nuggets in there, and that's just from a mentality and an approach standpoint that got me, and I'm like, okay, this was worth it. And then I started digging into the other things in the platform. Shonda Rhimes, she's talking about writing. Okay, well, I'm not necessarily wanting to be a writer, but it does help to understand story and how stories are developed. Because if I want to shoot a film, make a short film, I need to figure out how to create a story.
Yeah.
You know, and then Sam Jackson has a class on there about acting. That's probably my favorite one. I have no desire to be an actor, but the stuff that he mentions in that is going to be helpful for me behind the lens to see what the actor is giving the camera, and it's going to help me figure out, am I framing the right way to be able to enhance what they're giving me? And then in post, how's my grade? How's my color grade? Does this fit what the actor is giving me to the lens? Right. You know, and all of that stuff. Masterclass. It's people are like, man, it's too expensive. Dude, if you're a creator, I highly recommend it. They used to sponsor my show last year, or maybe it was the year before. They used to sponsor my show, and so I had a trial and I tried it out, and I was like, oh, I'm in, and here's my card.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know,
yeah,
and it's totally worth it. I still pay for it to this day.
Nice. Wow. I just do for the time being. I'm taking Tomorrow's Filmmakers because I'm getting into the wedding videography side. Boy,
you are. Whoo,
yeah.
I salute you. That's one thing I do not want to touch is weddings.
Yeah. So I know. I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. So I'm getting to the wedding videography industry, and I've just Tomorrow's Filmmakers has been really helpful. But also I've been.
Is that Parker?
No, it's not Parker. Parker is full-time filmmaker. Tomorrow's Filmmaker is
Parker's full-time.
Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow's Filmmakers is Justice McRaney.
Justice McRaney. Okay, yeah. I have to look that up.
Justice McRaney, and I also just been doing YouTube University. So
yeah, YouTube has so much stuff out there. I've learned a lot for free right there on YouTube, and a lot of people. A lot of people my age sleep on YouTube. Yeah. People your age, because you're clearly younger than I am. People your age, you're already on it. You know, go out there. There's a lot of free stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do video. What type of projects do you do with video? So you try to stay away from weddings. Do you do like commercial work, promotional work?
Well, it's been slower since I moved out here, but I'm finally in the mode of kicking my stuff up beyond the show. But what I used to do was just marketing stuff. People wanting to do things for their brand, whether it be headshots, whether it be marketing images, stuff that they can use for stock imagery, or video, stock video, or just talking head videos. I've also shot events. One of my proudest moments still to this day is being able to shoot a charity event for an NBA guy. And it was a humbling experience, you know, and just appreciate them giving a brother a chance. And it's definitely helped me out. And I learned some things there, and it just a great experience. But yeah, I tend to shoot things more on the promotional marketing side. But I also enjoy shooting portraits of people that want to do something a little more moody if they want to. Yeah. And then I like to shoot sports if given the opportunity. So yeah, I know it sort of sounds like, God, he shoots everything. Yeah. Well, you're right. I try to shoot a lot of different things, and that's probably the worst thing to do as a photographer. Most of the teachings will tell you need to niche down. My whole professional career was all about knowing enough of a lot of different things. Yep. In the IT world, I saw that. I worked in IT for almost 20 years, and knowing the basics of right click to fix this and that kind of stuff, all the way down to understanding what a class is or what a function is in code. All of that stuff helped me out. Just knowing just enough of all aspects of it, and it just really helped me have more value in the 2 companies that I worked for. Yeah. Well, you know what they say, right? They say people always misquote this saying. They say a jack of all trades is a master of none, right? They always misquote that. It's supposed to be but a master of none, right? Right. But a master of none, right? So but a master of none. But in the end of that quote, it says, but he's still better than a master of one. Ah, see, I didn't know that. Yeah, see? That's what's up. Right? That's what's up. Right? That's what's up. So jack of all trades is a master of none, but he's still better than a master of one. So it's just like, wow, that kind of that blows my mind. I freaking love that, because I'm telling you, that's pretty much been the MO of my professional career, as far as, how I earn money. Yeah. I have no desire to build the next great smartphone app, right? But I know what goes into it, right? I know how to pull up an IDE and start, pulling up Java or Swift. I get all that. I have no desire, no desire to do it, But then I also understand the infrastructure side of things. How does this network work here in the house? How does the network work in an office place? Firewalls and and database management, and I get all of that. I'm getting, so when you started doing projects for promotional work and all these other projects, getting your first paid clients, what did you do? You did cold calls, cold emails, or were you referred? Dude, I'm old, so it's all cold call stuff, and it's what I'm finding out now since being here in Sonoma County. And I pretty much took 2020 off because I felt bad going around asking people for money during the pandemic. I said, you know what? I have my show. My show is paying my bills. Just keep focusing on that, because you really want to make it grow. And I did, and it paid off. Granted, there were a lot of days like, man, I really wish I could be out shooting this and that kind of project or whatever. Yeah. But I felt bad asking people for money. Yeah. And but now I'm over that. Yeah. So now I will go out and I had a piece of mail over here that I got the other day, and first thing that came to my mind was, this person could hire me. So I'm going to call them. They got their phone number on there. I'm going to call them. And if they don't answer the phone, they also have their email on there. I'm going to shoot them an email. Yeah. I will cold call you one way or another. I have done walk-up cold calls, if you will, solicitation. But nowadays, at least I've learned here recently, solicitation is damn near outlawed. Yeah. Everywhere you go, there's big signs, no solicitation. So I have to take it digitally. Yeah. And so far I've been able to make some nice contacts doing it the cold call way. Because you can tag people on social media and this and that, and that's great. But the people that you're probably tagging, they get tagged a gazillion times. Yeah. And they're probably just numb to the notification and swipe it away. Yeah. But something about that personal connection is going to make a difference, in my opinion. And that's probably not something people younger than me are doing, but that's what's working for me at the moment. Yeah. That's cool. I kind of went a kind of bit of a similar situation, but I did
I've just been working with other local businesses. I did a promo video for a girl that makes cakes, and then I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee, and
Nice.
I found out there was a Jeet Kune Do here, Jeet Kune Do school here in Petaluma, and last year I was so scared. I was really scared, man. I went to the place of business. I went to the place of business. I parked my car and I sat in my car for at least a good 5-10 minutes because I was just like, all right, I need to get out my extrovert. I have to be this business person. I'm this video guy. I have to make a relationship. I have to be personable. And so I took a deep breath and I went inside the Jeet Kune Do business, Seafood Damon Evans. And I met the Sifu there and we talked about Bruce Lee and martial arts. We had some sort of connection. After having that conversation for like 10 minutes, I said, hey, I'm building a portfolio for video and I would like, to shoot like, your school for free content. And I'll edit it and give it to you. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I filmed for him for 4 days, made an edit, gave it to him, and I released it on Facebook. And I've never felt so fulfilled when it was shared multiple times, and it got over 1,000 views on Facebook. And I was just like, I was just so damn happy, man.
nice eyeballs, and that also can equate to referrals.
So
good stuff.
And
I get that because I'm an introvert. And a lot of people assume that I'm not because I'm freaking broadcast every week. But I am an introvert. It is. I do not talk. I do a lot of things by myself. But I do get that, for me to have business, I need to sell. I need to be a salesperson, and I need to market. I need to promote, and I figured out some ways to do some automated stuff here and there. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to sit down in front of proposed client and pitch them. I got to do that. Not a robot, not a service. I need to do that. So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, I guess.
Absolutely. And that's why I became an instructor for the Coast Guard, and I teach students about my job, and teaching in front of people and presenting in front of people kind of let me exercise that muscle of public speaking and being uncomfortable in front of people and stuff like that, and just gaining that confidence, so.
With the public speaking side, this is going to sound really weird. I'm an introvert, but I never really had a bother to do public speaking. I can remember being in high school and you have to give a speech. I didn't want to talk. My high school years were the worst. I was not the cool kid. I was only the cool kid because I could ball. But outside of that, I was the dork that people made fun of. And, but if I had to do some type of little speech for a class, I didn't really have a problem with it. It was like, oh, this is your assignment, go do it. And that's how I approached it. And when I got to college and had a public speaking class that I had to take, I didn't want to take the class, but it was a prerequisite. And get in there and do those little speeches, and I could do it. I didn't care to do it, but I could do it. It never really scared me or anything like that, where people say they have a fear of public speaking. So even with my show, I don't have a problem staring at this camera right now and just talking into it. It's not my nature, but I can do it. If you need me to do it, I'll do it. That's pretty much how it is.
No, same here. You have to some sort of like build some sort of persona in front of the camera, right? You have to somewhat show your best, show your best version of yourself, right? So, but yeah, man. Let's take a few-minute break for a word from our sponsor.
Need fingerprinting? There's only one local live scan company to trust. Ameriprints Live Scan Fingerprint Services. Here's Ameriprints founder Alan Cox.
I opened Ameriprints back in 2005 as the first private service provider for live scan fingerprinting in Sonoma County. We have perfected the process and ensured our community a safe, secure, educated, and most importantly, a qualified business to handle confidential fingerprint information. I have over 20 years of active duty military experience dealing directly with background checks and the live scan process. My employees and I are thoroughly trained and utilize the latest technology to ensure your fingerprints and personal data are delivered immediately and securely to the California Department of Justice. The minute you walk through the door, you'll feel confident knowing fingerprinting is our only business and your information will be properly processed.
Ameriprints, with locations in Santa Rosa, Petaluma, San Rafael, and Rohnert Park. Go to ameriprints.com or call 707-588-9866.
All right, we are back from the break. Thank you, Ameriprints, for sponsoring this video. And you've given me golden information about yourself and the business and being a content creator. Now I want to ask a few questions before we end the show. And one of those questions is, do you think that having a photography/creative business can be a lucrative endeavor to make a living from?
Yes. Period.
Yeah. Period. That's it. That's it.
Yes, it can. It's not gonna be for everybody.
Right.
But that's it. But that's any job.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of careers out there that can be quite lucrative, but it's not going to be for everyone. You know, there are salespeople out there that I know, they make a mint. That's not for me.
No.
You know, that's not for me.
Right.
You know, just as them being behind the camera, it's not for them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Do starving artists really need to starve?
I'm going to piss some people off on this one. Because I say, yes, you do need to starve.
Yeah.
And again, this may be my age showing, sir. So just bear with me.
Yeah.
But I think you do need to starve because hungry people get shit done.
Yeah.
And I mean that in all sense of the matter. If you're physically hungry because you haven't been nourished, you're going to figure something out to eat.
Yeah.
You're going to get some shit done.
Yeah.
And if you're in the early stages of your career and you're beating your head against the wall, you're going to do whatever you can to turn the corner. You know, and I say this to my family all the daggum time.
Yeah.
Because it comes up.
Yeah.
There's nothing here in the house to eat. And my phrase to them is, you ain't been hungry enough.
Yeah.
You know, because I know there's stuff down there to eat. You just don't want to do it. And that same type of mentality trickles into your schoolwork. That same mentality trickles into your career. You know, it's okay. I booked client A over here in Petaluma, but man, client C is way better than client A. Gosh, so I might as well just really just shit on client A.
Yeah.
Just give them a half-ass effort. Well, what if I actually get client C? You know, because I've just been practicing bad habits, I'm not going to keep client C. You know, I need to get rejected by client A few times to help me build myself up, help me build my skills, help me build my work ethic, you know, because when client C comes up to me, you know, I'm going to be ready.
Yeah.
You know, I think you have to be hungry. You have to starve a little bit in order to get to the next level, because a lot of people this day and age, they say the phrase that I absolutely hate. In COVID, I figured COVID would even make that word go away, but viral. People are still saying viral.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to be is viral on anything.
Right.
I do not want a piece of content that I create, whether it be an article that I've written, whether it be a video, whether it be a photo. I do not want it to be viral. I'd much rather it be evergreen. I'd much rather it be something people can come back to at a later date, because there's a whole lot of viral sensations out there, and a couple months in, you forget about them.
Right.
A year later, you're forgotten about them.
Right.
You know, yeah, some of them are able to pivot into doing other things with that viral sensation that they had, and good for them. That's what they should do.
Right.
But most of the time, no, you don't.
Right.
And I don't mean to pick on this cat, but the dude that was riding down the street on the skateboard, drinking the ocean spray, and singing was he doing like was it Fleetwood Mac song or something other? And because his car broke down, but he was going down the street on a skateboard, going to work with ocean spray and singing into the camera. Everybody loved that thing.
Yeah.
And this was in 2020. I believe it's 2020. And he had some nice windfalls. You know, I want to say he even got a house out of it. But we ain't heard from him since. Or what else?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
he's just sort of living day-to-day life.
Yeah.
You know, but then on the other hand, take Casey Neistat.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Neistat made a ton of viral videos that ended up on the New York Times and CNN, whatever, just tons and tons of them. But he was taking that energy and pivoted into other things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, his brand.
Right.
You know, so he's not viral. He is top of mind when it comes to creating content or creating stories. I mean, he's still doing work. He's not doing all of the stuff on YouTube anymore. Right. But he's still doing work. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I totally agree. I mean, I probably might get flack for this, but I don't do TikTok.
Well, no, you're not going to get flack for it because again, it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
I have a TikTok account and I put stuff on it.
Yeah.
I don't think what I present on TikTok is what people want to see, but I have a presence out there.
Right.
Same with Instagram Reels.
Right.
Instagram and we have a bit of a love-hate relationship going on. It's more hate right now. They have really been pissing me off.
Yeah.
But I've been doing experiments with Reels and you know, because I'd rather shoot my photos and put my photos there first. Yeah. But of course, Instagram does not want that. And so I decided to start playing with video content in the 9:16 aspect ratio and putting them there. And it's been a fun experience for me just to sort of think outside the box, because you, as a videographer, you know, your framing is going to change. Right. Right. You know, you're constantly thinking 9:16, not 16:9. Right. So things have to be framed up in camera, not in cropping. You know. Yeah. And it's been a great challenge for me, and as well as, can I make this work into 60 seconds or less? Right. Better yet, can I make this work in 15 seconds? That's the real challenge. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And that's been good, but at the same time, it's not necessarily my thing. But I get that people want that, and my proposed clients, they're going to want that. Yeah. So I'll be ready.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's just, like you said, you know, that word viral, it's everybody wants to be viral. Right? Everybody from their grandmas want to be viral. Right. I mean, they do. This is why I don't do TikTok, because I don't know. Just when I look at social media, I just see these people, you know, they're posting content that some people post very, very valuable content. Some people post, you know, like what is that supposed to do? Like, is that supposed to make me laugh? Is that supposed to be funny? Like, are you trying to be serious? You know, that viral, everybody's trying to go viral these days. And but it's the fact that what type of value do you bring onto social media, onto your followers, onto your you know, onto your people that you influence, right? So so that's the thing with content creation, is what type of value do you bring? Like, are you an expert at something? Like, you're a photographer, so you're an expert at that. You're a leader at that. So people will look up to you for your expertise. It's not just another. I can't see you doing, you know, a dance routine with a camera. I mean, I'm just trying to go viral.
Nope. Dude, you don't even see me do selfies.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't do selfies. I will do a self-portrait. Yeah. Because there is a difference. Right. but I'm not doing selfies.
Right.
I'm over 40.
Yeah.
Why am I doing selfies?
Yeah.
You know, it's just not me.
Right.
You know, social media, and I've had my issues with social media because it tends to, it's gotten people in that whole fear of missing out mentality.
Yep.
And it's gotten people into that whole, let me show you the very best version of myself right now when it's totally false.
Right.
You know, people are, and then there's the whole braggadocious side of it. And I'm like, why is that? You know, you're going on vacation and you do this whole selfie to show I'm out on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really ask if you were on vacation. I didn't care.
Right.
You know, but for whatever reason, people assume that's what everybody wants to see.
Right.
You can't go to a musical concert today without seeing footage of people holding up phones, with their backs turned to the artists,
Yeah.
showing everybody, look where I am.
Right. Right.
Why?
Yeah.
You know, that's just braggadocious. That's not my style.
Right.
But that's where we are in this world.
And that's where we are in this society. And that's why with my business account with One Crate Productions is, you know, I just post behind the scenes footage of maybe a current project that I'm doing.
I'll do that.
Yeah, with my second editor, or if something in my personal account on my Instagram, like when I travel, I don't take selfies. I either shoot video or take photos of my environment and the destination, and I just share the location to my followers and be like, hey, this is cool. There's a cool place if you want to visit here. There's a cool place here.
You're way better than me. Yeah, I don't even do that.
So there's a cool place in San Francisco. Check this place out. You know, I don't even do that. Yeah, so I like sharing. I like sharing to other people, like, you know, the locations and the destinations. I guess.
I used to years ago. I used to like to share locations of where I was. Yeah. You know, but then it got to a point where I felt like I was bragging.
Oh yeah.
I do not want to come off as braggadocious, because I'm not. Because quite frankly, I earned this moment.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but I don't want to brag about it.
Right.
But yeah, I used to do that, but I don't do that at all right now. I will shoot photos of vacation for my family members, but even that's rare.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah, I totally get it. So yeah, content creation is always going to be a thing. It's the way of the future. Independent content creation is going to be the future. So,
and I'm all for it. It's nice to see that video is taking off more now.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan of vertical video, but it's nice to see that video content is taking off more, because it's opening the doors for people to be able to jump into that space and build careers off of it.
Yeah.
Traditionalist cinematographers that went to film school and stuff, they may disagree, and I get that, because they paid a lot of money for those degrees.
Yeah.
I get that. But content creation has been democratized.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it because everybody has access to the tools. You don't necessarily need to have a $20,000 Area Alexa.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a $600 iPhone XR.
Yeah.
And shoot it in 4K.
Yeah.
30 frames a second, and it looked great.
Yeah. I used to, when I first dabbled with videography to begin, I worked with a Canon T5i. Shot 1080p. I didn't know what to do with it. I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to shoot with this thing. Yeah, there you go.
Still one of my favorite cameras to today, man. Yeah. Dead serious. Yeah. I love the daggum Rebel.
Yeah.
It is not fast, but man, it is still quite capable.
Yeah, it's good for somebody that's getting into like beginning photography and video. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, I will pull this one out every now and then because of the APS-C sensor. I want to get a little extra reach. But yeah, I'm not getting rid of this camera. Yeah. It's old as God. How old is this camera?
T5i, I think, came out in 2013.
Man, but I am not getting rid of that thing. Yeah. DSLRs are dead. It's totally dead technology, but I have no desire to get rid of that thing because I can still shoot with it.
Yep. let's say one last question. What advice would you tell someone who is getting into photography / creative field?
Do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because you're looking for money. If you want to get into something for the money, be an accountant, because they look at money all day long.
Yeah,
and they earn a decent wage. But there's a lot of careers out there that are passion based, and they're not lucrative at all. Now, granted, they could eventually be lucrative, and the creative side of things is just that. It has to be passion first. You have to do it. I hate saying this because sometimes people overdo it, but you have to do it for free.
Yeah.
If you would do it for free, okay, yeah, keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want people not to get paid,
right,
but I'm saying that if it's something that you love so much, you would probably do it for free,
right,
and wouldn't think twice about it.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes the creative endeavor starts out as hobbies, right? They just do it for the hobby. They do it for, they just start filming or start shooting for their families and friends.
That's how it was for me.
Yeah.
It was just hobby. It was private.
Yeah.
Nobody even knew about this stuff.
Right. Yeah, me too. And then of course many years later they're like, maybe I could make some profit out of this, right? Maybe I could do something with this, make a business or a career or stuff like that, and make it more valuable, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, don't do it for the money. You got to do it for the love of it. So.
Yep. It goes back to that starving artist thing, the hunger.
Yeah.
If you're not hungry in the middle of that project, then no, just stop.
Yeah. Because
it's not for you.
Right. Absolutely. And this was awesome, man. This was great. This was, I want to say thank you. Where can the audience find you? Websites, Instagram page, Facebook page. Where can they find you?
Sure. Check out my website, antpruitt.com. I have some of my images there and the menu items that has my blog post there, because I do write stuff. I have my prints available there. And then on the social media side of things, you can check me out on YouTube at youtube.com/Ant Pruitt, and Twitter, Ant_Pruitt, Instagram, Ant_Pruitt also. And then, hey, if you're interested in, learning photography and learning video fundamentals and just hearing some general conversations with other professional photographers out here in this world, check out my show on the Twit network, Hands on Photography. That's twit.tv/hop. That's HOP for Hands on Photography. twit.tv/hop.
/hop. There you go. Have it, folks. For the audience, if you guys have any questions for Ant or for myself, please let us know. Please let me know at onecrateproductions@gmail.com. Or type your questions down on the description below. And you can find this podcast on Anchor, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And I want to say, Ant, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can get together soon. Break bread someday. Do some mentorship and stuff like that, because I'd like to pick other people's brains. So
yeah, sure.
And
for everybody listening to this show, make sure you rate his show in those podcast apps so other people can discover his podcast. So
absolutely.
Whatever service you're using, it's probably got a little star rating or a comment section or something. Go ahead and do your due diligence and just give them a thumbs up or star rating.
Absolutely.
And help them out.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ant. All right, guys, this is the end of the show, and we will see you all soon. All right. Peace.
Thanks for having me, brother.
All right. Thank you. Please consider supporting this podcast if you enjoyed this episode. If you wish to donate monthly, go to anchor.fm/OneCreate. Or if you want to make a one-time donation, Venmo at OneCreate Productions. Your donation is greatly appreciated. It will aid in the growth of this podcast and the development of a community of inspired creators and entrepreneurs. If you donate, we will thank you with a shout out on future episodes or a personal message from one of the show's guests, the hosts, Jay, Mike, or Zach. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you all again next time.